Our friends, enemies, people in between, people still undecided. You are in for a treat because today we're getting together. We try to do this once a week, but I've been grinding on tour, man. Stand up comedy is no joke, but it's a lot of fun. And I want you to come to the live tour dates, but we get together here online. So we have people from all over the world. Put where you're from in the comments section. So, other people can go, "Oh, I had no idea. I didn't realize he reached from North Korea all the way to South Korea, aka Irvine." Bam, bam, bam. Today we are in for a treat because we are going to talk about the following things. Bottle service is now offered at Popeyes. What? Corrupt judges going down one by one thanks to Donald Trump. The state of Washington giving away money for you to buy a house, just free and clear, but only if you're black. And Trump can't understand an Indian guy. What else is new? He tells him to his face, at least. That's respectful. It's all happening right here, right now on The Right Show. It's not the Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Ellen, one of these left-wing propaganda shows. We're actually all moderates right here. Common sense wins. And we are here to laugh together through the news cycle. So you don't have to sit there and watch it yourself, get angry, get upset, get flustered, and scream at your TV. You don't have to do that with me here. So we're going to get together. Now, it's almost Cinco de Mayo. In fact, some of these clips are going to go out throughout the week. It's going to be so funny. So Cinco de Mayo is here. I need to know, what is your favorite cuisine? For me, Mexican. Oh, I love it. Enchiladas, only the cheese. I don't even need the chicken or the meat. I do like a nice carne asada burrito or chicken breast burrito. I don't want that pulled chicken stuff, that shredded beef. I want to see what's in there. All right. With that said, we are going to go to the videos, but first, we've done 137 episodes of this. You are welcome to be here. YouTube has over 470,000 subscribers. Instagram is up to 169,000. Facebook over 230,000. So there's a good chance if you leave a comment, I'll put it on the screen and 1 million people might see it. Okay, look right here. Boom. Saul Cabrera coming to us from San Diego, and Jay Chrisman from Washington. There's going to be a whole lot more coming soon. Now, it's very important that we realize that some of this stuff that I'm going to tell you is, it's going to sound made up, but it's not. And if you're in San Diego, then you're close enough to Coachella. So the first video of the day, Mexicans broke down the fence, jumped the wall, and ran in to Coachella, only to serve hot dogs to the fans. It was hilarious, and it looked a little something like this. The guts on these people during Trump's presidency, during ICE raids, to say, no, we have to get the hot dogs in there. And they jumped another border, they crossed another wall, and they got in there, and they served those wieners to the crowd of Lady Gaga lovers. Fantastic work, guys. Now, this was hilarious. In political news, Tim Burchett, who's a congressman from Tennessee, just totally roasted some dork as he was trying to ask a question. Now, once you deal with the left enough, you develop these ninja skills. This guy has them. Take a look at what he says to the radical leftist trying to interview him about some political question.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Oh, the roast is real. Do you trust Trump to keep the nuclear secrets? Do you trust your mother to keep your Hot Pockets warm and turn your Game Boy on before bed? Oh, I got to hand it to you. That was clean, clever, no bad language, topical, right down the barrel to the kid's face. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. I know I did. Well done. You belong on one of those roast battles on Netflix or Comedy Central. You would have won the round for sure. An all-female group of so-called astronauts went up into space in a big blue phallic thing, and they're calling themselves a female crew. You're not crew, you're a passenger. You just went up and came down. Like, women, we did it. Hey, you know what? Who invented the rocket? Who started the company? Who had the billions of dollars to send it up? And who brought you back safely? I'm sure it wasn't all women like, okay, Houston, like, let's literally send the launch. Go!
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's?
And what is so funny is this group of professional astronauts came right back down from space sounding like this.
Those are like the guide parachutes. There go the drogue parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
Okay, so you're not a real astronaut if you come back to Earth like this. Whee! We really did it! Baby, you're a firework! And then you're gonna, Sorry I had to put you through that, but that's what went through my mind when I saw it. Let's check up with the comments and see what you guys have to say as well. Why scream? I had the exact same question. They are an embarrassment to women, and that came from a woman, okay? So don't be hitting me with that, you're a racist, sexist, bigoted, Islamophobic, homophobe. We already know that. Don't need to hear it again. Hey, the pullout game from space was strong, and it reminds some people of Disneyland. All right, so we move right along. Donald Trump promises something that is actually going to stimulate the economy. If you have an American car and if you buy one new, and if you take out a loan, you might, for the first time ever, get to write off the interest. That's what he hopes to do. Of course, Democrats don't want that to happen. Nobody should get a tax break.
And if you build a car in the United States, and one thing that I just spoke with John Thune about, I just spoke to Mike Johnson about, Speaker, we're going to do something that has never been done in this country before. I'm very proud to say it was my idea. And so sometimes a simple idea, they say, how'd you think of that one? It's so simple, it was never done. If you buy a car in the United States that's made in the United States, if it's manufactured here, when you borrow money, if you borrow money, you have interest payments, we're going to let you deduct the interest payment for income tax reasons. And I think that's going to more than pay for itself. I think people are going to be they've never had a deduction. You know, deductions are supposed to be for like rich people, and it's unfair to have that. But rich people are, I think I know more about deductions than any human being on earth. But, you know, the truth is that people that are middle income people that buy a car and actually have to borrow money, they're going to now get an interest deduction on their car if it's made in the United States. If it's made someplace else, that won't take place.
How Trumpian was that? I love that. It's a very good idea. And many people, they thought, how did you think of that? I just do. I don't know. Humble brag, but he does roll out something that would deliver for America. If you buy a new car and you get a car loan, you can finally write the interest off against your income. So instead, let's say you get a really nice car, instead of saying, well, you made 70 grand this year. Yeah, but I paid $1,000 a month in interest. So you remove 12,000 from the 70. Now you can only tax my whatever that is. What is that? $58,000 income instead of taxing me at the 70,000 pre-tax and after-tax dollars. Does that make sense? So let's hope it happens, because then you'll see me riding in a much nicer motorcycle or vehicle for sure. Maybe even a Tesla product. I want to buy one just to spite the left. That is my goal, to buy a Tesla just because the radical left doesn't like it, and then to make sure I have all the cameras working at all times and pepper spray. So if I see someone with like purple hair, lip ring going, you're supporting a Nazi, we're going to pepper spray and say, Tesla's made in America. You got yourself a Volkswagen, a BMW, a Mercedes, a Porsche. You support Nazis. We support the USA. Bam, bam. Yeah, America. All right. If you're just joining us, let's check in on the Latinos who have broken into Coachella. What are they doing now? They are still breaking in, trying to sell more hot dogs. Well, hats off to them. Now, Donald Trump had a problem that we've all had before. You ever try to work with customer service and you just don't understand them? Trump had to meet with an Indian leader and just I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds good.
Say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was. This is something that the Prime Minister has been working on for a long time and has been worked on for hundreds of years, frankly. I've been reading about it. But I will leave Bangladesh to the Prime Minister. We'll do a few questions, please. Please, go ahead. Please, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Blue shirt.
Thank you, Mr. President. People in India will naturally welcome your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to India back home. In that context, I would like to ask you a question about, in last few years, we have seen several groups in the US raising anti-India voice, calling about separation, terrorism activities in India. Do you think that should continue here in the US as well?
You're going to have to go louder.
Mr. President, people in India would be welcoming your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to...
I can't understand a word he's saying.
May I, sir? May I?
Hey, I can't understand you. And then, of course, Bangladesh came in, and the guy is speaking English, but Trump has an interpreter speaking better English so he can understand the Bangladesh. Awesome. These are the moments, these wholesome moments we love when world leaders unite and the press gets involved. We're going to go to the comments now, see what you guys had to say about that. English to English translation. Love it. Only Trump needs a better English. And no taxes means nothing gets built. That's very interesting to say that. We don't say no taxes. We just need to reduce taxes, which means put the government on a diet. You know, I made a little bit of money during the pandemic, nowhere near what I normally make. And so I had to go on a diet, financial diet, in order to continue doing the things I like to do and maybe tighten your belt a little bit. Maybe don't eat out as much and you pack some meals at home. And so the government hasn't been put on a diet in 300 years. It is time that they lose different offices and different groups and different meeting headquarters and different buildings. You know, they occupy like 9-story buildings. You know, hey, maybe they don't need that many offices. Maybe they don't need that many stories. Maybe the government of education, the Office of Education and the Bureau of Education and the Education Division and the overseeing of education, maybe we combine that, and someone's doing too many emails back and forth. Every time the tax dollar goes past an agency, they got to cha-ching, take their little, oh, for my pocket, pay the toll. You've got to pay the toll. Well, we want to get rid of so many gatekeepers, and that is exactly what Doge and Elon were up to. Okay, you guys are going to love this one. Rahm Emanuel, who's top leader in the Democratic Party, and his brother, Emanuel, is a top agent in Hollywood. That's why a lot of the radical left have political leaders and they're hand in glove with Hollywood and their commercials look amazing and their celebrities are all on board. It's all intertwined. The Republicans, they got to make a cool video and I don't know, we got to use source material. We'll use American flag, a soldier, we'll use some guns. But the Democrats like, we're going to use Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah, Bono. So anyways, Rahm Emanuel, who's one of the Emanuels, very influential family, he spoke out against the radical left. So even he knows, you guys, you've gone too far.
Be quiet. Spend a little time listening and not to the sound and the beauty of your own voice. Through COVID, we put on the establishment code. We, closing the school, wear your mask, we become these experts. And then we start talking, and we compound it with like terms like defund the police, Latinx, caring economy. We talk like we're adjunct professors at a small liberal arts college in the Midwest. And, the Democratic Party become a house of mirrors. We just want to feel good about ourselves, talking to ourselves about ourselves. Here's my view. You have a Yeti cup, you fund WBZ, NPR, sit down, listen, and say you're sorry. And I include myself in the same mistakes. If you have a Yeti cup, be quiet, sit in the corner and listen. Stop talking. That's my view. I'm joking about, so I don't get hate mail, about NPR. You're highly educated, including Emma.
You sit down. And not just a Yeti cup. If you have a Stanley sipper, we don't want to hear from you. Sit down, be quiet, learn from Elon. You got Jasmine Crockett saying, he's stupid. Elon dumb. You got AOC going, he is the dumbest billionaire I have ever met. Okay, bartender, listen, sit down, get your Yeti cup, get your Stanley sipper, go in the corner and watch magic happen. These are billionaires. These are businessmen. These are inventors. These are engineers. These are entrepreneurs. We know a whole lot more than you do. You got elected by a bunch of people who wanted a handout. You convinced 51% of your district. If you vote for me, you're going to get handouts. We are doing the heavy lifting. Sit down, shut up, put on your makeup and look good. There's a guy named Charlie Kirk. I love working for Turning Point USA. I just did 2 comedy shows for them the last 2 weeks. That's why I've not been on the show. Turning Point USA is a freedom of speech advocate. They're non-political. They have their personal beliefs, but they don't promote that. They promote the Founding Fathers, freedom of speech, the Constitution, and living very moral lives to the best of your ability. So obviously the radical left hates them. Charlie Kirk, much bigger than my comedy shows. When he shows up, a sea of people, 5,000, 10,000 people. He sets up a tent, sets up a mic, and he debates. Man, is he good at debating. I don't know who trained him over the years, but he knows the Constitution. And he never even went to, he graduated high school, but he didn't go to college. In fact, he famously wrote a book called The College Scam, I believe, because he knows that these schools are charging $65,000 a year, 4 years, saddling the students with $300,000 in debt. They're coming out dumber, angry, and demand the government pay for that tuition. That's you and me. Pay for their highfalutin tuition. So we say no to all that. So Charlie went to one of his Ask Me Anything tented outdoor events, security, and this guy got on camera at a Charlie Kirk event talking about women all being DEI hires. Now, that's not true. You could be a DEI hire if you're a woman, but you could be a great woman that got hired. So he doesn't know the difference. And then he takes this example, which is weird.
An example of DEI is basically your daughter, right? She decides to get a job, right? And unfortunately, it's that time of the month. She goes into the bathroom. Calm down, calm down, calm down. She goes into the bathroom and gets a tampon or a pad that's been given from the job. That is DEI. That is literally, yes. Yeah. You don't know. That's great. One part of DEI is literally giving women tampons or pads at work. Oh, yeah, you're laughing because you don't know that.
Giving women tampons is a form of DEI.
Yes, it is. You know why? Let me explain. Yeah, y'all know. I got you. I'm about to explain to you guys. So basically what happens is, the reason why we have DEI is the fact that in a job location, right, they want to hire more people of diverse. So what these initiatives, these goals, these aspirations that they're doing is trying to bring more people in. But what you're telling me is that we are not allowed to tell people that for like onboarding in itself is also DEI. When they explain to you sexual harassment, when they do all these things, when they make it more a safer place, that is DEI. And what you're saying is that the workplace shouldn't be safe. What you're saying is that more companies should have discrimination lawsuits.
Let's get back
That's what DEI stops.
get back. DEI is racial quotas. End of story.
So this guy thinks DEI is janitorial supplies. Listen, bro. If there's toilet paper for the woman, that's DEI because they have to wipe more. No, dude. DEI says you come into a company and you look at it and you go, oh, this company's racist. We need more black and Mexican and gay and LGBT. Now, DEI is if you bring a bunch of tampons into the men's bathroom, but that's a whole different story. So fact check, false. Thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Isn't it great that Charlie Kirk gets to go out and air the radical left's stupid ideas in public? Nothing is as good a disinfectant as sunlight when it comes to the left. Oh man, that made me laugh so hard. Let's check on the comments for a second here. He's unclear on what is a woman. That's true. I don't want to hear what DEI is and what women are and what black and what Mexican and what this and that are from people who can't even identify their own genitalia, which are dangling right there for you to look at. Someone says, Kayvon, come back to Off the Hook in Naples. I love that comedy club, man. Naples, Florida. And I want to be there right about now or October, November, December, January, but never in July and August. Oh, my God. I'm svelting right now. That's what all the Floridians sound like in Naples because they all came from Long Island in Boston. I hope AOC runs for president. That will be hysterical. Yeah, but be careful what you wish for, because the left hoped Trump would run, and he won. Wow, that was a tongue twister. That's like how many dudes did P. Diddy diddle if P. Diddy did diddle dudes? Very difficult. The left hoped Trump would run, and that's when Trump won. Got it. How now, brown cow? Moving to the next video, which you're going to love. A corrupt judge was caught. Okay. A corrupt judge was caught harboring illegals. Another federal judge was caught giving illegals advice on how to get out of trouble. Now, these are the same judges that said, no one is above the law, Donald Trump. Well, these people think they're above the law, and now they are being arrested by ICE, the federal government, the Supreme Court. It's all coming down, and these guys are going away in shackles because they are aiding and abetting illegals and criminals. So that is Juan Cano, who is helping an illegal stay at his house, and he's not the only one. Get it? Yeah. So Juan Cano was posting pictures with gang members saying they're staying with me. They came over to do some yard work. Donald Trump will never get rid of them. Now you're going to jail, dude, for 10, 15, 20 years for thumbing your nose at the law. You are supposed to be the law. Now, what's funny is the radical left thinks this is crazy. Oh, he's putting judges in jail. Oh, that's a dictator. No, that's someone upholding the actual Constitution. We have to do it. You cannot just make up your own laws. The radical left are the ones that always say judges are corrupt. That's why there's so many Latinos and BLM in prison right now. Judges are corrupt. Okay, we have found corrupt judges. We are going to get them off the streets. You've been warning us for years, and now we're finding them. All appointed by Obama, Biden, and even George Bush and Clinton and Obama. Let me be clear. We got to get these guys off the streets. Okay? Michelle knows. My daughter knows. American people know. That's my Obama impression. Okay, we move on to some racism, because racism is largely gone in the United States. There really is no racism at all except for the left. The left are the only people that draw swastikas in public regularly. There might be some weirdo off in the woods somewhere that does something, but I'm talking about mainstream racism that you will see in a major city every day, people that have jobs and working among you who are racist. It's only the left. Only a radical leftist that works at a school or a Starbucks will come out and carve a swastika during their lunch break. Only a leftist will want white men out of a company to replace them with a different color because of racism. And only the state of Washington would adopt a stupid racist policy for the radical left to clap for and thrive. This is a policy from Washington. If you're black, you get $120,000 of taxpayer money just for free to buy a house. So get ready. Going to be a lot of new condos in the hood.
Maybe they might want to call me a monkey today because I want to participate in our inclusive economy. This is getting ridiculous.
The people in my community are asking for restorative justice. They are asking for us to repair the harms that previous members of this institution, and I would dare to say, Mr. Speaker, some current members.
Yeah,
yes, you're part of history now.
This is great. Okay. Washington State's Covenant Homeownership Program provides down payment and closing cost assistance for lower income first-time home buyers. Lawmakers created the program to address the disproportionate impacts of racial redlining in Washington State. House Bill 1696 modifies the program by adjusting the area median income threshold for program eligibility, introducing loan forgiveness, and modifying the Oversight Committee membership. This modification will create more opportunities to close the racial homeownership gap, which is a very important goal for all of us here in Washington State. We so appreciate everybody who made this legislation possible. We know it's been, like any legislation, challenging. Yes. This one has its yes. share of challenges, as we know. Yes. But Representative Taylor has been a real champion of this legislation, and so we appreciate your leadership in particular. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm pleased to sign this legislation into law. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's take a photo.
Do it! Don't give money to people. We saw what happened in 2005, 6, 7. Clinton and his flunkies made a rule that, there's not enough minorities and people with bad credit that have homes. Make it very easy. It kicked in. A lot of people bought subpar loans and subpar credit and subpar houses and alternative, adjustable rate income, fixed rate income, all these things, fixed rate loans, mortgages. And guess what happened? After the rate adjusted and after 4 or 5 years of paying $3,000 every month, never stops, rain or pour, you lose your job, $3,000, you miss 3 payments in a row, you're out. So the housing meltdown came from this. Giving people money, you cannot ever give people stuff. The worst thing to happen to most people, they win the lottery. Someone wins $2 million in the lottery, they are on the streets and more homeless than ever before. They won because it is a negative thing to happen. And that sounds very counterintuitive. What do you mean, Kate? With $2 million? No, if you give someone with you have to earn it so you get financially literate as you go. So the worst thing to do is just give, you're black, here's 120 grand. You think you're helping. That's what all those people thought they're doing. Oh, we're helping. Yeah, okay. I'm excited to do this. Do you know how many defaults? Do you know how many foreclosures are going to be popping up in Washington in the next 3 to 5 years? Unreal. And it didn't stop this guy from celebrating. As soon as he heard the news, he threw a party with his money. This guy decided to have his birthday at Popeyes and hired bottle service girls. He was going to be fancy. Take a look. Wow, those thighs are too thick at Popeyes for me. Okay, I'd rather go for the breasts. All right, folks, you have just survived most of the Right Show, and that's what we do. We go through all the fun stories and we break it down in under 45 minutes. Not many people could do that. Let's go through the comments, see what you guys had to say behind my back while I was watching the fun videos here. This $120,000 Washington plan will get people killed and on drugs. Yeah, because money's fungible. So if you give people money for their homes, they have the extra money they were going to work hard for in the home. Well, let's blow this. Let's do a section of Popeyes and go get a little. Too much. Thanks for speaking the truth, says Patricia. Well, we have to. The truth is where all the jokes come from, because if it's not true, it can't be funny. What in the debt is going on over here? We got Crystal with the thumbs up. Down payment assistance for people who can't afford the payments. It is crazy. And Sandy Wu says the truth. Leftists are morons. Well, we know that. Patricia lives in Washington saying, I think it's ridiculous and these politicians are driving us out of town. Harris ran on handouts for the BLM community, and that's the only thing she had, and a tax rebate for a kid for first-time parents, and it's not going to go well at all. All right, late to the show again, but you made it. Cool. So, guys, we always end the Right Show with a laugh because, obviously, this is how we come up with material. We need to know what's going on in the world and sift our way through it together. Talked about a bunch of great things today, but what we didn't do is a straight stand-up comedy clip. That's my pledge to you. I will bring you some laughs. This was this week's clip, and it's from an older special. I filmed it in 2018. Been working on the joke since 2012. And it is just as relevant today. It's uniting people instead of dividing the way the politicians and CNN do. And we're laughing together. Actually, straight guys and gay guys need to work together because straight guys walk straight. Part of being a straight guy is elbows in, wrist in, looking at the ground, you know. The straight guys know all about down here. This is our domain. Straight guys, down here. We know about tile, brick, grout work, wood flooring. Gay guys, wrist out, brings the chin up. It looks like they're looking at bumblebees. You spend your life like this, you notice all this stuff up here. A lot more fun than down here. Up here is way more fun. They see like lighting, they know what to do with chandeliers, drapes, sconces. I don't even know what sconces are. They know, sconces. Think about it, from day one, they were looking up. That's why they saw the cool stuff. They're like, does everyone see the rainbow? Oh my God, look at the rainbow, wow. Does everybody see the rainbow? It's amazing. So I've been working on that joke again because I go back through my archives like, oh, that joke, I can bring that out and make it funnier. And so that's what I've been doing, working on that one again. Now I go, guys, look down. We see tile, carpet, grout work, wood floor, molding, floorboards. So I added a few more things. It's just fun to do, just to switch your brain up a little bit. And I go, okay, guys, you know about lighting, sconces, chandeliers, and drapes. And it's just fun to do. And it gets your acting going and everything. So we got a bunch of people in the comments. I had a little challenge given to me. I want you all to try this challenge at the same time. Mary Lou says, I was hoping you would try my last name. I don't think anyone has ever tried that last name successfully, but it's right there on the screen. So let's try it together. Baldwin. How'd I do? I think I got it. We have another buddy in the house, Ryan Adcock, who I've known for 2 decades, and we still look the same. We have not aged one day in 2 decades. I don't know how we do it, but it's the power of a greater being, I'm sure. What is a sconce? Don't act like you don't know. I guarantee he secretly knows what sconces are. Stop it. And Crow said, never thought of that before. Well, that's why we're here. Comedians are supposed to think about the stuff you ain't never thought of, make it funny, and go, why didn't I think of that? All right, guys, here's what I need you to do. Give this podcast 5 stars, a thumbs up, a good comment, whatever you can. We need all the love we can get. We tell truth through comedy. We wake America up with laughter. And what I like to do is I'm going to keep a video running so you can keep leaving comments, and we'll keep having conversations for the next 2 minutes. So enjoy that. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week with The Right Show. Peace.
Right.